Good morning, traders. It is Wednesday, the 10th of September. Thanks for coming, 2025. Thanks for coming. New listeners, I want to say thank you for attending. I hope this is the best 5 to 8 minutes of your trading day. Get you started off on a really positive note with the right kind of things that you need to keep focused on. That's our goal. So let me go ahead and get right to work. I got a great quote to get you started with today. In the field of observation, chance favors only the prepared mind. And that was from Louis Pasteur, a microbiologist, a guy famous for inventing pasteurization, of all things. And Louis said, in the field of observation, chance favors only the prepared mind. Have you ever noticed that sometimes some people just seem to fall right into something that's perfect? Just happens to be perfect for them. And that happens regularly. Every couple of weeks or every couple of months, something happens and they're ready for it. And they can take advantage of it right now. Why is that? Because they've taken the time to prepare themselves to be ready to take the opportunity when it comes. It's very similar to somebody who trains, 3, 4, 5 years out of their lives for something that might be a one-time event like the Olympics or running a marathon. They want to succeed and they're preparing ahead of time and they're doing everything that they need to do before the event happens to ensure that they've got the best possible prepared mindset and physical abilities. This is true for opportunity and money making all the time. Why is that? Well, it's somebody who studies things like supply and demand and studies how real estate is bought and sold and says, if I want to be successful developing land, what is it that I really need to do? And maybe they'll go and talk to people who have developed land. And they hear things like, when you think a piece of land has an opportunity, immediately do your due diligence on the land. Find out who owns it, if it's ever been for sale, what it sold for before. Find out if there's any liens against it, if it's free and clear. Find out if the individual who owns it is somebody local. There's all kinds of things that might make a difference in convincing someone to sell their land right now. Also, what do you plan to do with it? You want to develop a strip mall? Might be good to get a retaining architect involved. Pay somebody ahead of time to do the survey of the ground. That way, when you acquire it, you can immediately go to the bank and say, I'm ready to get started. You don't have to wait 6 weeks and have your capital at risk for something that might change. You know what I'm saying? Little things like that. Chance favors the prepared mind. Now, we talk about trading in the marketplace. What is a prepared mind? Great question. It's not what you think. It's not somebody who's studied the markets and knows everything there is to know about the markets and can tell you all the differences between all the different kinds of indicators on price action. That's not a prepared mind. A prepared mind is somebody who's been thinking along these lines. Sooner or later, this huge rally that's happening in the cattle market, I'm just picking a number for today that may work. This huge rally that's happening in the cattle market, uh, this is going to end. And it's going to make a top. And when it makes a top, what if that top is a 20-year high? And they'll go back and research 20-year highs in agricultural markets and look for similarities. Because oftentimes, ag products are traded by the same people. So the same market moving forces present in grain might be present in cattle. So if they're already long a market, the way they got out of the grain market when it topped and then moved lower might be exactly what they plan to do in the cattle market. So what are the clues that they're going to move on? You see what I'm saying? So a prepared mind in the business of trading has to do with understanding the relationship the market has to the eventual forces that will work on it. One of my favorite things to do Um, I know it's going to sound crazy, but during hurricane season, every single year during hurricane season, there's a threat to the orange juice crop. Now, some years the market makes a big move, other years it doesn't. And true, if there's a lot of orange juice around, then probably it's not going to be that big a deal. But for the most part, every year there's something happening. And most people try to find the bottom of that and ride it up. I don't do that. I look for the topping. I look for where is this when the season is over and there's been no shortage of orange juice, this price action is going to drop lower most likely. There's a strong probability of that. So, what is it that I need to be prepared for? And I look at all the different big picture things that I can find, and then I watch the hurricane thing pretty closely. Something is developing off the Ivory Coast. Okay, it's moving which way, and where's the steering winds? And okay, there's going to be people that are worried about that, so I'll look at the market and see what it does. Maybe there's a little blip higher. Okay, it's in play maybe. From based on what I've seen previous price action over previous years, if this turns out to be nothing, that's going to be about what, 2.5 weeks down the road? 2 weeks down the road? Where's that going to put prices between now and then? What's typical for this kind of a move? Blah, blah, blah. That's a prepared mind. That's what you want to develop for yourself as a trader. Not so much to get to be an expert in all the different kinds of analyzing prices and all the different kinds of things that you can do to try to study this stuff, but rather anticipate the reality that every market has. Sooner or later, this bull market's going to top. Sooner or later, a bear market's going to bottom. Sooner or later, the loser's going to have to take his hit. What is that going to look like? Is there a big setup happening that if I timed it just right, I could be short from the annual high of a market? How great is that? Get a 2 week lead on something that's not coming back for a year? Nothing to do with sit on your hands and wait. That's a wonderful feeling. But in the field of observation, that is watching what's happening, not forming an opinion about it, not trying to evaluate it, but simply observe it and watch it. Chance favors only the prepared mind. Something's going to show up that you could exploit right now if you're ready for it. So how do you get ready? You get ready by preparing to get ready. All right, guys, I'll let you get to work. It's a beautiful Wednesday, and we'll see you later tomorrow. In between now and then, keep those cards and letters coming. Thanks. Bye.